the tables in a minute. There's a method to our madness. We knew you all were about to fall asleep, so that's when we bring out the spritzers, because we got a little more to go. We got a lot more to go, actually. So this is something we haven't really ever covered at REV. And when I look at the outline of, like, what do we need to hear? What do we need to hear? What do we need to know as leaders? You know, this all falls into your leadership blueprint. What do we do? When do we do it? How do we do it? So I wanted to bring Jewely up because I really kind of look at her as one of the queens of closeout. And so how many of you feel like you need some better ideas about how to handle closeout? Where do you guys feel about that? So I've had people reach out and say, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And then the confused mind just says, no, forget it, and then nothing gets done. And there's people left there hanging. There's money left on the table. And so for just about the next 10, 15 minutes, we're going to go over some of Jewely's key strategies for helping her leaders close out. Jewely is a leader builder. She really is, from the beginning. That's something she's always been really good at, is developing leaders, but she really runs with them. It's not a, hey, good luck, may the odds be ever in your favor. She really gets in the trenches with them. So, Jules, final week of the month. Oh boy. We've got some people that want to hit some ranks. We got some people that need a bigger paycheck. How are you closing your people out for the end of the month? What do you do? Take us through those steps.
Yeah, so first of all, put your mask on before you help your friends, right, on the airplane. No difference in your business. Make sure that you go through your qualifications, and this is where you're going to become really good at understanding the compensation plan. Who's challenged by the compensation plan? Okay, like a quarter of the room, and the rest of you are not honest. So, for real. Thanks for being honest with me. Compensation plan is difficult, but it's really not, you guys. If you just look at what you need to be, what your requirements are, do the things. That's it. Don't worry about the pay scale. You want that, but you don't have to look at it. It's a requirement. So close out yourself first, right? So, and this is like my favoriteest time of month because this is where it's do or die. And I don't know, is anyone else kind of like always running late in life? Right? Okay, that's me, and it's horrible, right? But for some reason, I crave deadlines. Like, I just love deadlines. If I've got some homework due, it'll be done about 2 minutes before it's submitted, right? Like, that's how I roll. Without a deadline, do you think you guys would actually get done the things that you need to do? No. And if someone's new, sometimes they don't even know that their numbers close out at the end of the month. Whoops, I forget that sometimes. I'm like, oh, people don't realize it goes to 0 on the first day of the month. So, this is how I do it. Go to the back office, click reports, pull up a graphic tree view or linear, however you want to do this. Start with your babies, people you are responsible for, new people, people who maybe just signed up, but people who are also maybe less than an MMP for the last 5 years. It doesn't matter. You as an upline need to see how close they are to that next rank so they can get a higher pay, correct? All right, so go and see what their PV is, okay? Now this is where it can get a little bit crazy, so I write things down on a piece of paper. Okay, this person's running for market mentor. Let's go to MMB. MMB, they need 4 active lines. Okay, cool, they got that, go check it off for them. You're doing this on your own, without phone calls, without anything. This is your homework. You're going to check out to see where people are at. How short are they? Just an example, I had this girl on my team, and I'm so used to giving these closeouts. Oh my gosh, I pull up her numbers, and I'm like, $160,000 in sales? What is this girl doing? Like, what is going on? She should be a director. She wasn't, she was an MMM, but I went through her stuff and I was like, she needs like a couple hundred here, a couple hundred here, a couple hundred here, and she is gonna hit director. So I messaged her, hey, did you know that you're real close to director? She's like, what? Has anyone ever had that happen where you're like, yo, you're real close? Okay, I challenge you guys to have these experiences. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. So, a couple days before closeout is when I did this, not 2 hours before closeout. Okay, for the last week, like Ann said, the last week of the month, see where your people are. This girl in particular did not know anything about the compensation plan, but she was a mass recruiter and she was doing real good and had a great team. because she didn't know how close she was to that bonus. So I just mapped her out. And that's just kind of what I do, is I just see where they are, and I nitpick what they need. I'll be like, hey, Chelsea right here, if she's an MMB, you're good to go. Chelsea, what she needs for an MMB, I'll click on the next downline, right? Scan it out, what does she need? I literally go through every single person, put them in the places, and I keep those numbers written down on a piece of paper, because that's a good habit. At the end of the month, your back office is not going to load as quickly as you want it to. Okay? It's a serious issue. Not that it's bad. It's just we sometimes rely on a computer system when we should be knowing better, right? Write it out manually. That way you have an idea of where those people are. So yeah, I've actually really boosted some people up because they didn't realize how close they were to hitting a huge drink.
I mean, it took me a long time to learn the comp plan. We learned kind of as we did because there was just so much. And we have a pretty extensive comp plan, but that's one of the most important things is understanding it so that you can better coach your team. We're going to hear an incredible comp plan training tomorrow from Kyle and Joey Kimbrough, who's already been on. Anyway, and Julie, I'm just like Julie. I have a little, somebody, I don't know who it was, got it for me. It's a little plaque that sits in my office and it says, if it wasn't for the last minute, nothing would get done. And it's the truth, but the last day of the month is not your friend when it comes to closeout. So I know people are waiting on numbers to get in and, you know, sales and all of that, but it is not your friend. Back office, everybody waited too. And that's why back office, we have trouble with it, we're lighting up the lines and all that. So just don't wait till the last month, the last day of the month. It took us a couple of years to learn that. So closeout starts the week before. It really does. And I love what she said about checking with your babies first. People don't know. They don't know how close they are. So that is your job as a leader to make sure you're closing your team out and providing all the information they need so that they're winning and they're collecting a paycheck. And it would really suck if people had all that volume and they weren't getting paid on it and it was just a small mishap. So understanding how to close them out and being, you know, opening that line of communication with people so that they're ready and you're there with them. Another piece of advice, I need you to be at MMB so I can do the MMM and
Has anyone experienced this conversation? Please raise
Has any?
your hand.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Most of you guys are not willing to admit it. It's been happening to you.
It's awful.
Can we talk about that, please?
Let's talk about that. So, okay, you go first.
Okay, so you guys, closeout is also where relationships are completely ruined for years.
She said it.
Guess what? We fixed the problem. Y'all want to know what it is? That M&P rank, having 2 active lines and stuff like that, that has completely solved the issue. You guys should be giving it up for corporate for doing that. Even Stuart knows it, because Stuart carries more complaints than me. But this is what happens. Let's say someone calls you up and they're like, hey, I need you to put 200 in. Like, you need to be active for me, right? Has that ever happened? This is where you can win relationships. So instead of waiting for the last day of the month, build the relationship throughout the month. That's why it's so important to contact people in the beginning of the month and say, what's your goals? Let's check up on the 15th and on the 30th. Let's see how we can really, really drive it home and achieve those goals. You need a relationship throughout the whole month. You will ruin your teams. You will ruin your people's confidence in themselves, your relationship, and the pressure will be built if you put that pressure on your downline to have numbers so you can get a rank. This is a team, and I absolutely love the comp plan because it's built that when you win, I win. That means you have to help those people. You can't just do this on your own, but build those relationships by having similar goals. That doesn't mean, hey, how's it going with your husband this week? No, it means how's it going with your prospects? Get down to business. You don't have to BS on the phone. You can just get straight to business. Saying, look, you're going to have 2 events this month. What are you expecting to get out of it? What about your team? Okay, so closeout starts in the first month. What's going on this month? What do you have planned? What does your team have planned? Start adding it up. Be like, okay, you're going to be about right here, more than likely. I know you've got like 4 prospects come to this thing. You got like 3 coming to this one. Your market partner's got 2. This is where you'll probably be. You guys know what I call this? It's called mapping out. Mapping out what is estimated by the activity that you already have planned. We're not just throwing everything to the wind in this. You're a business owner. Start treating it like a business. Stand up and actually schedule yourself. Get things done. So whenever closeout happens, you're not freaking out saying, hey, I need you to put that 200 in. No, with the affiliate program, we took away having to have market partners, which takes the pressure off those babies. And those babies, you guys, they're like delicate eggs, and you gotta incubate them for a little bit. Gotta take care of them. Don't toss them in the water. Let's let them hatch. Let's nourish them. Let's take care of them. And then they will float well. They will swim well, right? These are babies. Your MMPs are very fragile. They might not seem like they're fragile because they're boss babes and really, but you will destroy a relationship if you say, I need you to do this so I can hit my rank. And the hard part for a leader is when you see your team doing this, it's hard to say something. You don't want to ruin that relationship with your leaders who are doing it. So I relate to them. Like, yo, I've been there. I pissed my sister off real bad the first year. It happens. Fix it by starting in the beginning. Build that relationship. Don't worry about needing to have to get your 2 little market partners. They took care of it. I think Moni and Genius were doing that, so thanks, Stuart. That was a really great.
I love what she said about, the babies, and you can lose people before you really get them started. And so I think it's so important. And in the industry as a whole, I think we get a bad rap because of that. But there's a better way. And leadership is the key. And being a leader and showing them what they can earn. Let's get you here because this is what you're going to do. And when you help them win, they feel like they are a part of a team. And yes, it's a part of it. Building your legs and developing leaders is a part of reaching those upper levels of comp plan. But there's a good way to do it, and then there's a not great way to do it. And we made a lot of mistakes the first couple of years, and we've learned the hard way. And I've lost some people over that, and Jewely has too. So I think making a plan and working it throughout, working closeout through the entire month. It starts, like Jewely said, with a goal. You got your mid-month check-in, you've got your weekly Zooms and trainings and all of that, and then start the final week. So who's ready to start closeout, like the final week before? Let's have those conversations before the final day. I promise your month is going to go a lot better. Your team is going to respond a lot better. And the stress level doesn't have to be, 5,000 decibels on closeout because you're already done. And it's an awesome feeling, right? And then that gives you time to work with people that maybe don't have leadership that's working with them. So you start with your core team. Yourself, Jewely said start with yourself first, put the oxygen mask on first, but then you have time to reach down and find fire and find the volume, and maybe someone's not working so you can step in as a leader and help those people. Because again, that's your paycheck, right? These are all your people that are helping you get paid, so you need to be helping them all get paid.
I'm glad you brought that up, Ann. It's really important, you guys, to really anchor in, what do they call it? What's the word? Taprooting? Taprooting, thank you. Taproot down. So this is how I look at it. Let's say I consider my frontline person to be like an 8. They're real awesome. They're not perfect, but they're awesome. They're a go-getter. They're like, yes, oh my God, big deal. And then you have someone below them who's like a 4, and then someone who's a 3, whatever. If you got someone who's like 8 levels deep and they're an 8, you need to be reaching out to them, okay? Because more than likely they will be a generation in your pay scale, and I know for some of this might be over your heads, but I worked 7 levels deep. And 2 of those people that were on my level 7 are now in my level 1, and the other one is in my level 2, and they have both hit the $1 million club. So it works if you taproot down. And I guess using an 8 as your front line is a bad example. Let's pretend like you recruited a 4, someone who's not as influential, not a go-getter, and they recruit a 3, and then 7 comes in. That 7, they are your front line. You pretend like they're in your front line. You adopt them. You help them out. You are not overstepping your boundaries. You are extending your hands. That doesn't mean you say, hey, your upline sucks. No. Don't go there. It will get back to them. Trust me. Stuart's laughing because he's had talks with me. Okay? I've had embarrassing moments that I'm not going to share. It happens. Everything you say, pretend like it's public. You reach down though and you extend your hand and you start working with those people, even if you feel like they're better than you. Like, you can still work with them. You can still extend your hand. You've got experience. You've got, something that you can help them with. You might not know it all. But just saying, hey, I'm here, I see your numbers, I'm here rooting for you, What can I do to help you close out? And you guys, this is the magical moment that happens for so many people in their business. It's the last 2 days of the month. Has anyone experienced the magical moments? Yeah, 2 days. It's like you're running in a marathon and you're trying to finish that race and you finally get over the race and you fall on your face and you're just taking in oxygen and you're like, I did it! That is how a closeout should feel every month. Go all in. And if you don't have an exciting month, you still go all in because that is what's going to start your next month. The activity that is done in the last 2 days of the month usually contributes to how well your next month is. All the people that you reached out to might not be their time, but guess what? That's your leads for the next month. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about closeout.
I love it. We didn't want to spend a ton of time on that, but it's definitely a topic we wanted to cover because we've got a lot of emerging leaders in here that need to learn where to start and how to set the pace. Closeout is a elemental part of your business and your team's business. So go hard, go all in, and watch your check grow.